You know, Matt, in a world where we have 4,000 franchise opportunities to choose from, you are, and your company is a really a breath of fresh air
Oh, thank you.
of giving people a feeling of what it was like to own local business. Might be a franchise, but it doesn't feel like a franchise. There's magic in that, you know.
That's what we're trying to create, and I'm so happy that you said that because that is our goal. And
Hmm.
obviously, maybe I'm portraying it well today. I don't know about tomorrow, but that is
No,
how
that's
we.
you.
Yeah,
That's you. That's the magic of your brand. Is it's a franchise but doesn't feel like a chain.
that's our goal. Like when we opened our first one, people were like, "Is Matty G's a franchise?" I guess it
Hmm.
sounded like the name sounded like it, and we're like, "No, that's Matt. He's the one cooking your burger over there. He's the one pouring your drinks." And I'm like, "Hey, yeah, I'm Matt. Unless you don't like it, then I'm Frank." Oh,
That's fantastic. Matt, what's the investment range to open a location?
so it's a $50,000 for the franchise fee,
Okay.
but when you include the franchise plus the opening, you're somewhere between 115,000 and 215,000. And for those who are thinking that's too low, it's really not. And the reason being is we take a second gen restaurant space, one that's
Right.
already existed, has the core
Smart.
guts, and then we make it our own because if you look at our pictures or you come to the restaurant, we do that decor, that mini Hall of Fame. And we have
Right.
our paint scheme, but it becomes a Matty G's no matter how it's laid out as far as the restaurant. And so when you walk in, you might not be like, hey, the kitchen's, on the left side in this
Right.
restaurant, the kitchen's on the right side in that, but you know it's a Matty G's. You feel it. We have the decor, we have our funny sayings as well. And my job and the franchisee's job is to make sure that everybody on a customer service level make sure that they know that they're at a Matty G's where it's fun, where we're happy, where we don't rush anybody out.
Mm.
Sit for 3 hours, have a good time. That's what the whole experience is about. Is like having your family time that you'll make a memory. Hey, remember 3 years ago we were at Matty G's and Dad told us about this, and I just saw him on TV. That kind of thing.
Matt,
So,
how,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, Matt, how big is a typical location?
We range from 2,000 to 2,500 square feet for a fast casual. And then for if we do the full service and more of the right to work states, we're looking at 3,000 plus with our current one coming in Houston of 5,500 square feet.
Oh, that's a pretty big size. If I was going to open one, that's an awful lot of Yankee memorabilia you'd have to outfit it with.
Not all Yankees, okay? We, we got it all, but I mean, let's be real. They have some great things, especially the Yankees of Rizzuto and Berra and Mantle. I mean, there's some good times.
Yeah,
Or so
absolutely.
I heard. I'm not that old. I'm really not that old.
What's one thing you've learned and your wife has learned since she's really the brains behind the franchise side of it?
Uh-huh.
What's the one thing you guys have learned about franchising that maybe surprised you weren't expecting?
It's a different type of individual. It's very entrepreneurial. They want to know their numbers. They want to know the expectations as far as, let's say, opening. Hey, if I spend this, what's our timeline as far as opening? What's our timeline as far as bringing in revenue? At what point should we turn the corner and make a profit? Franchisees are very intelligent. It's
Hmm.
their money. And those are the people we want because they're the ones that are business people that really understand. They always say, like, you only make pennies in restaurants. Well, you can make dollars if you pay attention.
Yeah, so we have to really be mindful of the people who we bring into the system, of course. So they're being mindful in the operations. I know for me too, getting into franchising, I was surprised at the skill level of people who came into my franchise. It was like, wow, I could have never have afforded this person as an employee.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, they have skin in the game, and they're providing their experience in their own old career that you can apply. I mean, in any career we're in, in our prior life, there's something that we're bringing to the table, and it just elevates the brand.
Yeah, you can learn from everybody every day.
Hmm.
My dad always said, treat the janitor the same way you treat the president, right?
Absolutely.
You learn from the same people, like, cutting an onion may be, oh, I know how to do this. Well, somebody can maybe make it more efficient and maybe
Yeah.
make it better. And that's a small instance, but
Hmm.
that's a great example of you can learn every day. And
Hmm.
one thing that we don't want as far as a franchisee, you said bringing all the great skills. We
Sure.
don't want that guy who watches Bar Rescue and thinks that they can sit at the end of the bar and just drink and yell at everybody. So that's
Right.
not who we're trying to.
That is definitely not your person for sure. Where do you see the brand growing over the next 5 to 10 years?
Our goal is by year 3 is to have 10
Hmm.
franchises. By year 5 to 7, within that 20 range. We don't want to grow too fast.
Hmm.
I used to work for Lone Star Steakhouse, and they had 2 different scenarios where they grew way fast and then had to close stores and then restart again. And then I don't know where they exist now,
Yeah.
but that was a great learning for me. Do it properly, no rush. Make sure
Hmm.
everybody has their I's dotted, their T's crossed, and everything is in line. I used to work for Miller Brewing Company, and there was something that happened where we couldn't do a set where all the beer was lined out, and it was a great. I got yelled at, of course, but it was a great experience because the buyer said, "Don't worry, we'll sell beer today." And for us, don't worry, we're still going to get open, we're still going to operate, we're still going to be successful. It may take an extra day, it may take an extra week, and emotions get into play,
Right.
but you have to kind of calm, look at the big picture. The reality is we've got a great spot, and if it takes us an extra 2 weeks, it's okay.
Matt,
We'll
that is
get that.
that's such a great skill to have as you're leading this organization. Obviously, you have the know-how on how to run a Matty G's, of course, but that leadership skill in itself is going to play a crucial role as you start growing the brand over the years, that you get to bring a level of calm to go through the storm, because problems happen, issues arise, and there's nothing more important as a leader to be able to keep, calm, cool, collective, and to get the organization through. And I think that's terrific.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. What kind of legacy, Matt, do you hope to leave with this brand? I mean, it's got your namesake, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, well, like I said, unless they don't like me, then I'm frank. Ultimately, I don't know what my kids will wind up doing in life. They've both been exposed to the restaurant business. I think they're both seeing the entrepreneurial spirit that I have, my wife has, as she owns a franchise herself. And I think my goal is to create something that has long lasting financial success so I can have a better second half of my life as far as not working as much in the first part, but also ideally, if they want to take over, that'd be an awesome scenario. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not going to force it to them. I'm not going to make them do it. It's got to be their choice. But how cool would that be if in 50 years, they have a black and white picture probably by then of myself on the wall that says that was my dad or that was my grandpa. And
Hmm.
that'd be pretty darn cool.
Yeah. Well, in this really the second half of life, you're also evolving in that you're going to use more of your wisdom than having to be so hands-on, because your wisdom is so valuable, having all those years behind you of knowing what to do, what not to do. And so
Correct.
that's going to be an exciting part of your journey moving forward, is to be able to apply that and not have to work so hard and grind.
Well, the reality is one thing I would say to potential franchisees: I've made all the mistakes, or
Smart.
95%. I've
Mhm.
paid for all of them. I've worked my butt off. I've had those sleepless nights. They can then, I've already made the mistakes. They don't have to make those mistakes. We can advise them not to make those mistakes. And so their hopefully trajectory is straight up, where
Right.
mine was up and down throughout the years.
Yeah. Nothing better than a leader, a franchise founder such as yourself that has been through that and made those mistakes, because first of all, you get instant respect and credibility, because they know you're just not a guy who started a brand and never really worked it. You did it. You did everything.
I
And,
do.
it commands a different level of just camaraderie, respect, and they're going to look up to you as a result of it. So
I
all
hope
your
so.
hard work
I'm
has not.
shrinking. I'm shrinking. It's been an inch I've shrank. I used to be 6 feet.
Hey, Matt, tell me, why now do you think is really a great time for people to join Matty G's as a franchisee?
In the world where there's a lot of uncertainty, we have everything pretty much dialed in.
Hmm.
Our processes are dialed in, our order guides, our relationship with vendors, they're all dialed in. We have the opportunity to take second gen spaces that, for instance, those places that went out of business for whatever reason, could be personal, could be they just were a home cook that thought they could run a
Hmm.
restaurant, which is not a good idea. But we can go in, take that second gen space where they spent all their money, spent a lot of money building it out. we can come in, work with the landlord, get some free rent, some free tenant improvements, and open within that 3-month time frame, maybe 4-month time frame. Get up and running without having to pay rent yet, and bring in dollars, bring in customers. Use the money that we save for marketing, and marketing nowadays is crazy. I mean, it's not, back in the day, it used to be you bought a front page ad on the Clipper magazine and you were busy day one. Now my son does a lot of the marketing, and he does reels, I guess they call it now, right? And where they're throwing whipped cream on each other, or they're, trying a burger, or it's just so different. But the opportunity now is we have the old guy and me, we have the young guy and my son, we have my wife's opinion, which always matters. And that's, we can bring a process for people where they can really just kind of know that they've got a team supporting them, know that I'll be there, as many of my family members or managers from other stores, to be there to make sure that they're open, and that any hiccups that we know might happen or do happen, we can solve. And so for them, it's a learning process. If they put 100% in, they're going to get 100% out.
Awesome. All right, Matt. Well, if someone was looking to get more information about owning a Matty G's and owning a franchise without it feeling like a chain restaurant, where would they go?
www.matty-gs.com. So matty-gs.com. That's our website. It has a franchising landing page on there, and they can contact us through that.
Sweet. All right, I got one last question for you. I end every podcast with the franchise tip jar, because everybody's so great about and generous with giving advice on franchising. So I've got this one for you. What advice would you give your past self the night before you became a franchisor?
Take time, don't rush it, and take time to smell the roses. There's always going to be negatives that happen, but some of the wins, some of the positives. And when you're like, for Matty G's, for instance, when you're seeing that line out the door, it's freaking awesome. When you're seeing people enjoying the food, and my goal every time I have a shift is to have one person tell me it's the best burger they've ever had, and I hit it most of those shifts, that makes your day. The financial aspect will come. You're going to be successful if you keep people happy, but to enjoy the small wins, because there's some tough days as well. But if you enjoy the small wins, you can remember that, and it'll get you through the day.
Matt, great job. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I appreciate it. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you. And can't wait to have you come out to one of the restaurants one day.
I would love it. I would love to. Thank you. Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fumey, or Emerging Franchise Group, LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.